Welcome back, Guardians, to the Final Fantasy X HD Remaster. I'm Scott, you're at the TheScottSpot channel. Okay, so if you'll remember, we came to Besaid in the last episode and began our quest for capturing 10 of every monster in every area. For Besaid, it was the Water Flan, Condor, and Dingo. And it really didn't take long since those are the only 3 enemies that can appear, and you can kill them with one hit with basically anybody. The other thing is, because they give out so little AP, I didn't even have to switch in other characters, so it went by really fast. However, that's not all we need to do on Besaid. Because the enemies on Besaid are so weak, it makes it a good place to learn a few of the Overdrive Modes. The first of those Overdrive Modes is Comrade, which, let's see here. Comrade, it means you charge when the Overdrive charges when allies take damage. But as you can see, everyone already knows Comrade. I mean, they would have had to, because they would have naturally had their allies take damage in battles. But just in case you somehow don't have Comrade, I'm going to show you probably the easiest way to get it. So come to Besaid. The Waterfall Way is good, but really anywhere with fiend encounters would work.
This is gonna be easy!
Shut up, Riku. Alright, so what you want to do is bring in Tidus and Haste your enemies, so they'll be as fast as possible. And this would work better in a battle with 3 different enemies, which can happen here. And then once you've done that, have the characters that aren't learning Comrade provoke the enemy. So I'd have Auron. Is it an Auron or Tidus ability? I think it might be a Tidus ability. Yeah, it's a Tidus ability. So they'll go. Also, make sure your party doesn't have any counter weapons, obviously. Oh wow, the counter weapons literally ruined what I was trying to show you.
Alright!
Anyway, what you would do is you would have your characters not learning Comrade provoke the enemy, Slowga the party, so they get less turns, which basically means that your allies will get hurt fast, and then you just heal as needed. The only problem with this strategy is you would want multiple characters to know Provoke, which I think that Tidus is the only one that knows it. Tidus, yeah, that's all I see really, because I think Provoke is like really close to the beginning of his sphere grid, and most of the people are going backwards through his sphere grid that are in there. Yeah, so that's how you get Comrade. The next one is the Slayer Overdrive Mode, which the only people that don't have that for me right now that I didn't get naturally are Riku and Yuna, which makes sense because Yuna barely ever does physical damage. I'm not sure if Aeon kills count for her or not. And Riku I've just been using to steal. So everybody else has Slayer naturally. But what you would want to do if you don't have Slayer is just continuously get into battles and continuously slaughter weaker enemies. So let's bring... first of all, let's get rid of counterattack weapons. Wait, why did Tidus counterattack on that last time? Oh, he has the magic counter, that's why. So let's put on something that makes a little bit more sense, like, HP plus 10%, I don't know. Give him his super strong spear. Anybody else have anything with counter on it? Better not. Okay. So you don't really need a whole lot of preparation to grind for the Slayer Overdrive mode. Just get into a battle, switch Riku and Yuna into the active party, and then also, I guess I'm going to bring Auron in, since he's the slowest, I think. Speed, where's speed? Speed. No, agility. 19. Yeah, no one else even like comes close to as slow as Auron except for maybe Lulu. So get in a battle. And then, well, I would say you would want Tidus to attack an enemy or slow down another character, but it's not necessary here. Let's see, Yuna's still not strong enough to take out an enemy by herself. Let's bring out Riku and see if she is. Yeah, bring it on, blah blah. Alright, Riku can kill Water Flans. What about, can Yuna's probably not agile enough to hit these guys. How much HP does a Condor have? Does anybody have a sensor weapon? I think... No, I don't think anybody does, actually. So Condors have very little HP, but I imagine Yuna's probably not fast enough to hit them consistently. So, unfortunately for Yuna, what you would probably have to do is use Holy. Or, actually, doesn't she know... we took her down a path to where she could learn some black magic spells, so you can use one of those. And she still has the half MP rod, so it's not that bad. Alright, so for Yuna and Riku, it takes... you have to kill 110 enemies with Yuna and 100 with Riku. I imagine we don't have a very high number of those, so I'm just going to do that and grind off screen. So I'll meet you guys for the next Overdrive mode when I'm done. Okay, I have now gotten the, not the Slayer Overdrive, it was, what was the Overdrive that we were just trying to get? Let's see here. The, was it Slayer? I think it was Slayer, wasn't it? Yeah, so I got Yuna and Lulu and Riku, the Slayer Overdrive modes. Well, actually, Lulu already had it. It was Yuna and Riku mainly that we were dealing with, just like I described, so that's done. And now we're going to get the Tactician Overdrive mode, which charges when the status attack succeeds. So, Waka and... let's see, Waka, Tidus, Auron, and Kamari already have this, and they've just gotten it along the way by having status weapons and abilities, but the other characters have not. So, the best way to go about doing this is to give your characters that don't have it a weapon that has Waterstrike on it and a status element strike on it. So, they've all got Dark Strike on it because I had plenty of smoke grenades to customize it onto. Ideally, the best way for this to work would be to have somebody with Sleep Strike, because you could just wake the enemy up. So first of all, let's bring in Tidus and just get rid of this thing. There we go. And then, so when Yuna attacks, because her weapon has Water Strike, it's going to heal this Water Flan. But it also put Darkness on, so that's a point for her Darkness. Then so I'm going to bring Riku out since she's our fastest, and just go down to her items and then use eye drops on the Water Flan. It's going to take a lot of eye drops to get out the characters out of this. Theoretically, the better thing to do is to use Sleep Strike, like I said, so you can just wake them up with a weak attack from one of your weak party members. But I don't have enough Dream Powders, which you can get from stealing from skulls and Bandersnatches at the Comlands and Mount Gagazet, respectively. I can still go to the Monster Arena and do it since I captured those monsters, but I don't want to do things out of order, but I should have told you guys to steal more of those along the way. Anyway, so then you want to Haste your party. And then I'm going to bring... well, Riku can just attack. And then... wow, well, man. Yeah, that did a lot of damage, didn't it? So I'm bringing Lulu out now since she hasn't been hasted yet, and she also needs to learn. And then I'll just have Riku use eye drops. And by the way, it helps to have your cursor on memory for this. And you could just buy 99 eye drops on the cheap from Ren on the airship. So I'm just going to defend with Riku since it's not dark. And then you could use another character to use eye drops whenever it's time for Riku to learn Tactician. And the last thing you want to do, well, after you haste Lulu, or I'm hasting Lulu because that's how I need to do this. Just haste all your characters. And then you can slow the Flan, just so it gets less attacks, and boom, you just keep going, just like that. Just defend until it's, you can bring Yuna in this way, since she's our other character.
Yuna here.
Defend. Well, I should have had Yuna attack, but you get the drift. Now it has Darkness, have Riku use eye drops. Boom, and you just keep going. Well, I'll do this, and I'll catch back up with you guys when I'm done. Okay, Guardians. So I've finally learned the Tactician Overdrive mode. It just took a while. So now the next Overdrive mode is actually one that's going to take forever. to unlock, and that is going to be Rook. Basically, the Rook Overdrive mode charges whenever you have a character that deflects some damage, whether it be from Shell, Protect, Reflect, or one of the null elemental spells. So, what I have found is the fastest way to charge this one up is to first you want to have someone put Protect on everybody. So, if I'm not mistaken, Tidus, Yuna, and Kamari all know Protect. I'm going to go ahead and bring Yuna out as well. And none of the characters know Rook at this point, by the way. I'm just going to have Yuna defend. Actually, I should have had... No, you don't have a need to cast Shell, so yeah. Now Tidus cast Protect on Yuna. And then... let's see. Have Yuna defend again. Have Orin defend. And then have Tidus cast Protect on Orin. You want all three of your characters in the party to have Protect on them. And unfortunately there's no Protect spell in this game. So every time... oh, and also you want to try to get into a battle with 3 enemies. A Condor, an Aqua Flan, or a Water Flan, and a Dingo. So once you have Protect on everybody, that's when you cast Slowga on your whole party. You don't want to wait for Reflect for this to happen, because once Reflect is cast, you won't be able to put any other status elements on your party. So now that everybody's slowed, I can go ahead and have Yuna start casting Reflect. And by the way, if any of these strategies are hard for you to follow in the video, all you have to do is look down in the description, because I've included the best way to do it down there, in a step-by-step method. Alright, just keep defending. And then just keep casting Reflect on everybody. Did I already cast Reflect on Orin? No, I didn't. Okay, good. And really, you also want to Haste your enemy party. I was going to wait till everybody had the statuses they needed on, but it doesn't really matter. So now, every time a Dingo or a Condor attacks, that damage is mitigated by the Protect spell. If the Water Flan attacks with a Water spell, it's blocked by Reflect. So every time they attack, unless your character just dodges the attack, which Yuna and Lulu are apt to do, it counts towards the Rook Overdrive mode. It still takes a while, but not as long as you might think. The other great thing is, there's another Overdrive mode called Sufferer. And Sufferer charges whenever your character gets a turn while they're inflicted by a negative status element, like Silence, Sleep, Doom, Darkness, Slow, Poison, Zombie, or Confusion. Since everybody's slowed right now, every turn they get, it's another point towards Sufferer. The only thing I also want to mention is that Yuna and Lulu are probably going to get Dancer, which is an Overdrive mode that charges whenever they dodge an enemy attack. They're the 2 highest characters with evasion despite their appearance, so I imagine they'll get that sometime during this too. One other Overdrive mode, Ally, that I want to talk about real quick. No, you know what? I'll talk about Ally after this. So I'll meet you when I have finished learning Rook and Sufferer with everybody. Alright, now that that's over, as you can see in my Overdrive modes, everyone has both Rook and Sufferer. Okay, the only other allied Overdrive mode I want to talk about here is Ally. It charges on a character's turn. There should be no way that you should have reached this point in the game without everybody having learned Ally. However, if you haven't, just get into a battle with some enemies and Haste your party and Slowga the enemies and just defend constantly. And they'll eventually get the turns they need. Okay, this episode's probably gone on a little over long now, but I'm just going to push forward because I want to get to a certain point. I might have had to cut it off though, who knows. So, let's equip the... where's that weapon at? Here we go. The Baroque Sword we got from Geoscano a few episodes ago. That way we weren't running any encounters. Now that we've captured all the monsters here, there's no point in us having to fight anybody, because the AP they give is just way too low. So now we're back at the Ancient Road. You can see some save spheres here and some chests up there, but as you may have noticed, there's no way for us to get up there. You may have also noticed when we were at the Waterfall Way that there was a save sphere on the map that we couldn't get to. Well, that was the Besaid Falls location we used the airship coordinates to reach. I also want to point out this thing that we saw at the beginning of the game. It's another Alded password rune, but we didn't have nearly enough primers to translate it at the beginning of the game. It says, Kilika and Beaconel join as one. Well, what does that mean? I don't know. Maybe there's a clue in Kilika and a clue in Beaconel we can combine. I guess we'll find out more when we get there. Now this should lead to the promontory. And I think there's an extra cutscene here, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not, though. I thought that Luzzu was going to show up here, since he survived our Operation Mihin. I thought this is where his extra scene took place. However, I'm going to advise... Oh, there he is. Hey, Luzzu.
What are you up to out here?
Watching for fiends. We Crusaders must protect the village. Even if we cannot defeat Sin, we do what we can.
Leave Sin to us. We'll think of something.
Then you should pray before you go. All who leave the island pray for safe passage over there. Gata always refused, though.
Well then, I will too.
Eh?
Who needs hokey old superstitions? I won't pray, and I'll beat Sin all the same.
Well, I guess you have the spirit. Good luck.
Now that we know that all this Yevon stuff was a bunch of bullshit, it makes that whole thing about Chapu not praying here seem not to matter, huh? Or Gata. So they both didn't pray and they both ended up dead, though. You gotta wonder. Maybe you, Yevon, had something to do with that. Anything else to say, Gata? I'm glad he's back in, like, spirits, though. I think last time we saw him, he was punching the side of Jose Temple.
Calling Lady Yuna a traitor, there must be some mistake. Everyone in Besaid thinks so.
Well, I'm glad Besaid has still got my back.
As long as Sin remains, so does our duty.
That's what I'm talking about.
As long as...
Okay, Luzzu, thanks for your inspiration. So... Let me go save again real quick. Okay, the reason I saved right there is because if you continue down this mountain, you'll run into your first Dark Aeon. It's Dark Valefor, and you can't get to Besaid Village without defeating it. That's why we went back to Besaid Village early on to get the Eject Sphere, and we also got the Energy Blast Overdrive while we could. So let's just see how badly Dark Valefor kicks our ass. I'm not gonna like try to prepare or put up some kind of excellent fight or anything. I'm just gonna see what happens. Still, it seems like a stupid way to kill your player if they have no idea what the Dark Aeons are. Here we go. Oh, is it gonna let me go all the way to the village? I thought for sure... For some reason I thought that the Dark Valefor stopped you on the village slope. Oh yeah, here's the cutscene.
Infidel! Prepare to charge!
So Yevon sent some kind of summoner after us? I guess maybe the word that we're not traitors hasn't gotten around yet. And just like that, we're dead. Even the weakest of the Dark Aeons has their way with us at this point. It's going to take a lot more preparation before we can take it on. Surprising that the Besaid villagers let that summoner stay around knowing that he was after Yuna that badly. Oh well. So that's just a preview of the might of the Dark Aeons. Anyway, so that's going to be the end of this episode, Guardians. Next time, I will meet you back at the Save Sphere on Besaid Beach. We're going to head to Kilika. Haven't been there in forever, huh? And there should be a couple things that we can do there. So I'll just leave that for next time. But first we gotta ride the SS Licky, because there's a thing we gotta do there too. I should just stop talking about next time and let you guys sit in anticipation. Thanks again, Guardians. I'll catch you for more next time at the Final Fantasy X HD Remaster at TheScottSpot.